What if I told you that the biggest YouTuber in the world, a man who gives away private islands and builds chocolate factories, is also one of the most controversial figures on the internet? This isn't just a story about money. This is the story of an empire built on generosity and the dark side that comes with it. In this video, we're going to expose the complete story of MrBeast, from his insane spending habits to the creators who secretly hate him and the friends who betrayed him. This is the side of MrBeast you've never seen before. So buckle up, because we're starting with the one thing everyone wants to know. How does he really spend his millions? Did you know MrBeast has spent millions on everything from private islands and Lamborghinis to building a real-life Willy Wonka chocolate factory? He's even dropped $80,000 on Orbeez and nearly $1 million on Lego bricks just for fun. So how does one of the most extravagant YouTubers on the planet really spend his fortune? The guy doesn't just live large, he lives extra large. Jimmy has spent over $4.6 million on cars alone. And it's not just your standard sports car collection. We're talking about 12 Lamborghinis, costing him around $2.4 million, and 30 Teslas that set him back $1.2 million. That's before you even factor in the jet-powered cars he's built. Yes, you heard that right, cars with jet engines attached to them. And let's not forget the time he got caught up in an illegal street race, pushing his BMW i8 to over 120 miles per hour, which landed him in hot water with the police. It's not every day your reckless driving lands you in jail, but for Jimmy, it's just another story to tell. But cars are just the tip of the iceberg. When it comes to living like a king, MrBeast has taken it literally by purchasing not one, but 2 private islands. The first one cost him $800,000, and he made some epic content out of it. Then, when he hit 100 million subscribers, he went all out and bought a $2 million island that looks like something straight out of a postcard. It's wild to think about owning even one island, let alone 2. But for Jimmy, it's all in a day's work. The total? A cool $2.8 million, all for a couple of slices of paradise. Now, if private islands weren't enough, Jimmy has also spent millions on private jets, but not for the reasons you'd think. From a jaw-dropping challenge where participants competed to win a jet by keeping their hand on it to extravagant giveaways and stunts, jets have become another tool in his arsenal of over-the-top content. One of his most famous videos even compared the experience of flying on a $1 plane ticket versus a $500,000 luxury jet. It's like he looks at things most people dream about and says, how can I take this to the next level? Speaking of living the dream, let's talk about his luxury vacations. Jimmy's idea of a vacation is anything but ordinary. He's dropped $410,000 traveling to places like Paris, where he rented out the Eiffel Tower for a private experience, and Switzerland, where he stayed at a resort so exclusive that even world leaders vacation there. He even topped it all off with a trip to Japan to hang out with YouTube legends. Each of these trips was filmed for his channel, of course, because even on vacation, MrBeast doesn't really take a break. Let me take you back to one of MrBeast's first mind-blowing stunts, the Orbeez experiment. Imagine a backyard completely filled with colorful water beads, shimmering in the sunlight like a giant rainbow sea. That's exactly what Jimmy did when he spent a staggering $80,000 on Orbeez. It wasn't just a small kiddie pool or a couple of buckets. He went all out and filled his friend's entire backyard. The visuals were mesmerizing, and the internet ate it up. This video was so viral that it didn't just bring in millions of views, it sparked a nationwide craze for Orbeez. But as with most viral moments, there was an unexpected downside. Orbeez, while fun and harmless looking, started showing up in headlines for all the wrong reasons. Kids were swallowing them, thinking they were candy, and some ended up choking. Hospitals saw a surge in cases, and the tiny water beads became a big problem for parents everywhere. Now, let's be clear, MrBeast wasn't responsible for any of this directly. He just wanted to create an epic video, but still, it's wild to think how a $10 bag of water beads turned into an $80,000 stunt that had a ripple effect far beyond his backyard. And just when you think he couldn't get any flashier, there's his gold obsession. Jimmy has spent a whopping $396,000 on gold-plated meals. It started small with $10,000 on gold-covered steaks, but then it escalated to a $76,000 gold pizza. The cherry on top, a golden steak with golden ice cream that cost $150,000 in one sitting. I mean, can you even imagine? It's like he's turning food into art and then eating it. When it comes to creating content, MrBeast doesn't just think big, he thinks massive. Let's start with something straight out of a gamer's dream. A Fortnite battle buses. Yes, Jimmy went all out and had not one but two custom-made battle buses built. If you've ever played Fortnite, you know the iconic blue bus that drops players into the game. Well, Jimmy brought it to life. One of the buses was gifted to streamer Tofu, while the other was upgraded with extra features for his videos. Together, these buses cost him a jaw-dropping $225,000. Who else spends that kind of money turning virtual vehicles into reality? Only MrBeast. Then there's his love for Legos. Except Jimmy doesn't mess around with small sets like the rest of us. He spent nearly $1 million on Lego projects, including filling an entire house with 10 million Lego bricks and building the world's largest Lego tower. Just imagine that for a second. A tower so massive that it made every childhood Lego dream look like a warm-up. And these weren't just random stunts. They were part of his mission to create the most unique and eye-catching content on the platform. Watching him turn a pile of bricks into something spectacular is oddly satisfying and a little mind-blowing. Now, if you thought Legos were extreme, wait until you hear about his explosive stunts. Jimmy has a long-running love affair with blowing things up. It started with smaller fireworks displays, but quickly escalated to massive explosions that leveled houses and created giant craters. He even went as far as orchestrating a train explosion, not once, but twice. In total, his explosive projects have cost around $2.4 million. There's just something about watching controlled chaos unfold that makes these videos unforgettable. And let's be real, who wouldn't want to see a train go boom? But perhaps one of his most iconic creations is his recreation of Willy Wonka's chocolate factory. Remember the magical factory from the classic movie? Jimmy brought it to life, complete with a chocolate river, candy rock wall, marshmallow room, and even a feastable section. The whole thing cost him $1 million to build, and it was a masterpiece of sugary wonder. Watching contestants explore this edible dreamland made you feel like a kid again, and it's no surprise the video racked up millions of views. One of the most jaw-dropping things he's done is spend over $1.18 million on lottery tickets and high-stakes gambling. He started small, buying a few scratch-offs here and there, but it quickly escalated into a full-blown spectacle. At one point, he bought thousands of lottery tickets just to see if he could hit it big, and spoiler alert, he didn't win enough to make it worth the cost. But for Jimmy, it wasn't about the winnings. It was about the journey and the insane content that came out of it. Watching him scratch off ticket after ticket with his friends was weirdly addictive for viewers. It's like he was living out everyone's dream of what if when you go to the gas station to buy a lotto ticket. But Jimmy's gambling streak didn't start with scratch-offs. Back in his early days on YouTube, he got involved with CSGO gambling. If you don't know, CSGO is a popular video game that had a controversial system allowing players to gamble virtual weapon skins for real money. Jimmy was sponsored by one of these platforms, ironically called CSGO Big, when he had about 500,000 subscribers. This sponsorship led to some backlash because the system was seen as promoting gambling to kids, and many players lost big. Most of those videos have since been deleted, but it's a reminder of how even MrBeast had some questionable moments in his early career. Then there's his leap into the world of cryptocurrency. At one point, Jimmy invested $2.2 million in Bitcoin, which turned out to be a smart move considering how much its value has fluctuated. But his venture into crypto didn't stop there. He also spent $2 million on a warehouse specifically designed to mine Bitcoin. Unfortunately, this didn't go as planned. The cost of running the warehouse, especially the electricity bills, outweighed the profits he was making from mining. It was a financial loss, but for Jimmy, it was another bold experiment. And let's face it, bold risks are kind of his thing. For all his extravagant spending, MrBeast is just as passionate about giving back. If you've followed his journey, you've probably heard of Team C's and Team Trees. These are two of the largest fundraisers ever launched by a YouTuber. Team Trees, which started in 2019, aimed to plant a tree for every dollar donated. It ended up raising over $20 million, and Jimmy personally donated $200,001. Then came Team C's in 2021, a project project dedicated to cleaning up the ocean. For every dollar donated, 1 pound of trash was removed from the water. This campaign raised over $30 million, with Jimmy contributing $100,011 of his own money. And yes, those extra dollars were just to one-up his friend and collaborator Mark Robber on the leaderboard. But philanthropy doesn't stop there for MrBeast. One of his most touching series of videos involves his life-changing humanitarian efforts. He spent around $1.3 million on projects like curing blindness for 1,000 people and building 100 wells to provide safe drinking water in African communities. These aren't just feel-good moments. They're real, tangible actions that change lives forever. And the best part, he uses his platform to inspire millions of viewers to care about these causes too. Insane, right? From private jets to a real-life Willy Wonka factory, Jimmy Donaldson doesn't just play the game, he is the game. But that level of influence doesn't just get you fans. It creates an army of clones. What happens when one man's formula for success becomes the blueprint for an entire generation of creators? Let's dive into how literally everyone is trying to copy MrBeast, and why most of them fail miserably. Everywhere you look on YouTube, there's a pattern you can't ignore. The giant giveaways, the flashy thumbnails, the last to leave challenges. It's almost like the platform has been taken over by clones. But these aren't random coincidences. Behind every viral stunt, there's one blueprint, one creator whose shadow looms over everyone else, MrBeast. And the truth, it's not just small creators copying him for clout. Some of the biggest names on the internet, and even billion-dollar companies, are bending their strategies to match his. From giveaways that feel suspiciously familiar to product launches that mirror his every move, the Beast formula has become the playbook of an entire generation of creators. But here's the real question: who's copying him the most? Stay tuned, because what you're about to see isn't just a trend, it's a takeover. The first and most obvious thing every YouTuber tries to steal from MrBeast is his weapon of mass attention, the giveaway. Remember when Jimmy went viral by handing strangers stacks of cash, tipping waiters with cars, or giving away a private island? That wasn't just generosity, it was strategy, and it worked so well that suddenly everyone wanted in. Take Eric for example. Once just another small creator hustling for subs, he shot up when he started running MrBeast style challenges, giving away cars, money, even pizzas in absurd quantities. Fans loved it, but let's be real, it looked like a Beast video with a different host. Then there's ZHC, who built his empire on colorful art challenges, until suddenly he pivoted into massive giveaways. Cars, houses, money. Sound familiar? His fans saw it as generosity, but those who knew the Beast formula, they recognized the blueprint. Even mainstream influencers jumped in. Logan Paul raffled Teslas. KSI hyped up cash challenges. Smaller creators flooded feeds with "I gave $10,000 to videos." It became so common that giveaways stopped feeling special, unless they were on MrBeast's channel. But here's the twist: copying the giveaways is the easy part. The real Beast strategy runs deeper, because while other creators burn through money trying to look generous, MrBeast reinvests every dollar into a bigger plan. And that's where most copycats fail, because they can mimic the giveaways, but they can't mimic the empire. If giveaways were the first thing creators copied, then product launches became the next battlefield. Because once MrBeast proved that a YouTuber could sell more chocolate bars than legacy brands, the race to copy him began. Enter Feastables, MrBeast's Willy Wonka inspired chocolate empire. Launched in 2022, it wasn't just candy, it was a content machine. Golden tickets hidden inside bars, challenges tied to purchases, entire videos built around the product. Suddenly, buying chocolate wasn't about taste, it was about being part of the MrBeast story. And that's when the dominoes started falling. Look at Logan Paul and KSI. Their drink brand, Prime, exploded with hype. Yes, they had star power, but the marketing, suspiciously Beast-like. Frenzied launches, viral scarcity, golden ticket energy. They didn't just sell hydration, they sold clout. Prime shelves cleared like Feastables bars, proving that the creator brand spectacle had become the new formula. Even smaller YouTubers tried jumping on board. Snacks, clothing lines, energy drinks, each one packaged like a mini Feastables. They weren't just selling products, they were selling the dream of being the next MrBeast. And it wasn't just creators, even big corporations started using his playbook. Tie your product to a viral challenge. Make it scarce. Wrap it in story. Sell more than you ever could with a normal ad campaign. But here's the problem. Most of these copycats miss the secret ingredient. MrBeast doesn't just launch products, he fuses them with content. Each bar of chocolate fuels a video, and each video fuels millions of bars. It's a cycle only he can maintain at scale. The rest, they might look like MrBeast from a distance, but once the hype fades, their products sit quietly on shelves, forgotten. Because copying the spectacle is easy, copying the sustainability, that's the real challenge. If giveaways and products weren't enough, the most obvious place creators tried to mirror MrBeast was in the format of the videos themselves. Because let's be honest, the Beast formula is almost impossible to miss. Think of those massive, outrageous challenges. Last to leave the circle wins, buried alive for 50 hours, spending 24 hours in the world's quietest room. They weren't just videos, they were events, designed like blockbusters with high stakes, huge prizes, and insane retention. And soon enough, everyone wanted a slice of that magic. The Sidemen, one of the UK's biggest creator groups, shifted from casual collabs into massive Beast-style spectacles, stadium challenges, real-life game shows, wild punishments for losers. Their fans loved it, but the DNA was clear. This was MrBeast energy, dressed in a British accent. Then came the Dream SMP crew, born from Minecraft dominance. As they grew, their real-life collabs started looking more and more like Beast-style skits, survival challenges, chaotic group competitions, even IRL recreations of their Minecraft games. And it didn't stop there. International creators in Pakistan, India, Brazil, Spain, and Japan began outright cloning Beast videos. Entire channels dedicated to last to leave, or I gave away $10,000. Sometimes word for word, thumbnail for thumbnail copies. In some cases, they weren't even hiding it. They just translated the formula and uploaded. But here's the catch. While copying the format might win short-term views, it rarely lasts. Because Beast videos aren't just about the challenge. They're about scale, pacing, and precision. Every frame is calculated for retention. Every prize is scripted to shock. Most imitators don't have the team, the money, or the editing genius to pull it off. So while the thumbnails look the same, the results don't. Because the Beast formula isn't just a video format, it's an ecosystem. And without that ecosystem, the imitation crumbles. And if giveaways, products, and challenges made MrBeast the king of YouTube, his business model is what turned him into an empire. And that's the part the world is now scrambling to copy. Because MrBeast didn't stop at videos, he built MrBeast Studios, a machine that runs like Hollywood, dozens of employees, dedicated teams for thumbnails, editing, retention tracking, and then he made the boldest move of all: localization. Spanish channels, Hindi channels, entire dubbing networks designed to push his content into every corner of the globe. It wasn't just YouTube anymore. It was a multinational content company. And guess what? Suddenly, others followed. The Sidemen launched Sidemen Shorts, Sidemen Reacts, more Sidemen, breaking one brand into multiple revenue streams. Creators in India started Beast-like studios, hiring entire production teams to pump out high-stakes content at scale. Even Logan Paul and KSI's Prime Marketing looked eerily like MrBeast's playbook. Scale, diversify, dominate globally. And it's not just YouTubers anymore. Corporations are copying him too. Look at how brands now design ads like challenges. Pepsi, Burger King, even Nike, all using giveaway-style campaigns, social stunts, and viral dares to get attention. In a way, billion-dollar companies are now behaving like Beast clones. But here's the suspenseful twist. Copying a video is cheap. Copying an empire is not. Most creators burn out trying to build Beast-sized teams. Most brands can't sustain the authenticity he has with his audience. Because what they don't realize is this: MrBeast doesn't just make videos. He reinvests every dollar, every ad deal, every sponsor back into content. It's a cycle built on risk, trust, and vision. That's why when others try to copy his business, they often end up with bloated teams, shallow content, and no long-term plan. Here's the part nobody wants to admit. Copying MrBeast isn't just difficult, it's dangerous. Because on the surface, his videos look simple: spend big, get big views. But underneath, it's a high-risk balancing act that almost nobody else can pull off. Dozens of creators have tried and failed. Some poured their life savings into a Beast-style giveaway, only to end up broke when the video flopped. Others borrowed money to fund insane challenges, hoping for viral fame, and instead disappeared into debt. There's a reason. MrBeast reinvests millions because he already has a system that guarantees those millions back. The copycats don't. They see the fireworks, not the wiring. Take smaller channels who tried the last to leave formula. They promised thousands in cash, then couldn't even pay their contestants because the ad revenue wasn't there. Their reputations collapsed overnight. Others launched beast-like brands, snacks, merch, drinks, only to watch warehouses fill with unsold stock once the hype died. And then there's the burnout factor. MrBeast has a team of editors, managers, strategists, and analysts. The copycats, just one or two people killing themselves to match a billion-dollar pace. The result? Broken consistency, broken health, broken channels. That's the hidden threat. Not that you'll fail to copy MrBeast, but that in trying, you'll destroy yourself. Because the Beast model isn't just about money, it's about obsession, infrastructure, and a willingness to risk everything. And when others try to play that game without the same foundation, they don't build an empire, they build a trap. So what have we uncovered? From giveaways that feel like deja vu to candy bars and energy drinks that echo his every move. From massive challenges replicated by global stars to billion-dollar corporations running ads like YouTube stunts. One thing is clear, MrBeast isn't just a creator anymore. He's a blueprint. Eric, ZHC, Logan Paul, KSI, the Sidemen, even Pepsi and Nike, all bending their strategies to mirror his formula. Some thrive, some crash, but all of them orbit around the same gravity, Jimmy Donaldson's empire. And that's the twist, because copying the Beast doesn't guarantee success. It often guarantees exposure. Exposure of who has the resources, the vision, and the obsession to keep up, and who doesn't. At the end of the day, every YouTuber dreams of being the next MrBeast. But here's the irony, there can only ever be one, and while others scramble to imitate him, Jimmy is already on the next level, building studios, localizing content, and turning YouTube into his personal Hollywood. So maybe the real question isn't why everyone copies him, it's what happens when the Beast changes the game again. Because if history has shown us anything, it's this: the imitators will always be one step behind, and by the time they figure out his playbook, he's already writing a new one. If you made it this far, tell me in the comments, which YouTuber do you think copies MrBeast the most? And do you think anyone can ever surpass him? Don't forget to like, subscribe, and join us for the next deep dive, because MrBeast's empire may look unstoppable, but every empire has cracks waiting to be exposed. So it's clear MrBeast's influence is everywhere, but his empire isn't just built on viral videos, it's built on real-world products. Feastables chocolate, MrBeast burger, and a whole line of merch. But are these products actually any good? Or is it all just a massive cash grab? We're about to find out as we rate his products from 1-star disasters to 5-star masterpieces. You might be shocked by what we found. For every 5-star product MrBeast puts his name on, there's one that makes you wonder if he even tried it. Let's start with what was supposed to be his flagship product, MrBeast Burger. Launched in December 2020, it was an instant sensation. Lines down the street, fans crying in drive-thrus. The idea was genius. A ghost kitchen model that allowed fans all over the country to try a MrBeast meal without opening a real restaurant. And it worked, until it didn't. Because once the hype wore off and the food started showing up, cold, smashed, or in some cases literally raw, people started asking questions.
I paid $25 for all of this.
I just gotta be honest, this burger is, it's not good at all.
So average, everything tastes frozen.
It was chaos. And the worst part? MrBeast didn't own the kitchens. He licensed his name, meaning any quality control was not his problem. Eventually, even Jimmy admitted defeat, publicly saying he wanted to shut the brand down. And in 2023, he filed a lawsuit against his own partner, 1-star ending to a 5-star idea. When MrBeast dropped his own chocolate bar brand, Feastables, most people thought it was a joke. A YouTuber making snacks, again, another cash grab. But then people actually tried it, and it turned out it slapped.
So good, I should have bought more of these.
That's really good. I give it a 10 out of 10.
Feastables had clean ingredients, a genuinely good flavor lineup, and a simple marketing strategy. Buy this bar, win free stuff. Feel like you're part of something bigger. It was Willy Wonka for Gen Z, and it worked. Kids bought it for the sweepstakes. Adults bought it because it actually tasted good. Even competitors had to admit, this wasn't just branding, it was a legit snack. By 2024, Feastables was in Walmart, 7-Eleven, gas stations, vending machines, and classrooms. MrBeast's chocolate was everywhere, and unlike his burgers, people were actually eating it on purpose. 5 stars, no debate. In 2020, MrBeast launched his own app. The premise: keep your finger on the screen longer than anyone else in the world and win $25,000. Simple? Yes. Smart? Also yes. Physically or mentally healthy? Absolutely not. People stayed up for over 70 hours, tapping their screens like dopamine-addicted raccoons, hallucinating, breaking down, begging their families for water. And then, the app crashed. Thousands of players kicked out of the game mid-tap. Rage posts flooded Reddit. Conspiracy theories took over TikTok. Some people said it was rigged. Others said it was just bad coding. MrBeast gave out consolation prizes, but the damage was done. Finger on the app became a one-time meme, not a long-term brand, and the app quietly disappeared into internet history. 2 stars, maximum. Great concept, horrible execution. In late 2023, MrBeast expanded Feastables with gummies, cookies, and protein bars. And on paper, it made sense. If the chocolate worked, why not do snacks too? But the quality was all over the place. Some cookies were dry enough to file taxes with. The gummies were mid at best. The protein bar tasted like regret. Reviews came in hot.
These cost me $6. Each of these cost me $6.
Would I ever buy them again? No.
It wasn't inedible. It just wasn't MrBeast level. When you attach your name to Feastables, you're not just selling snacks. You're selling hype, trust, and taste. And in this case, he dropped the ball. 3 stars for effort, but not worthy of the Beast name. In 2024, Feastables launched Beast Water, a canned water line to compete with Liquid Death, Prime Hydration, and whatever Logan Paul was drinking that week. The branding? Pretty. The water? Water. That's it. There was nothing wrong with it, but also nothing special. Reviews were basically,
and just a very annoying way to drink water. I give Circle a 1 out of 10.
But in a world where hydration comes with a fan base, even boring water can become a collectible. 4 stars for branding, but it's just aluminum tap. Let's be honest, most YouTuber merch sucks. And MrBeast didn't break that pattern. Oversized hoodies with Beast slapped on them, basic designs, zero innovation. Fans bought it to support him, not because they wanted to wear it. It's not the worst out there. But compared to someone like Emma Chamberlain, who built an actual brand aesthetic, MrBeast merch feels like the team designed it in Canva at 2 a.m. It's not embarrassing, it's just lazy. 2 stars. Because people still bought it. Okay, not a product. But let's talk about it. MrBeast's shorts exploded in 2023. Every single one was a mini dopamine grenade. Millions of views in seconds. But somewhere along the way, they turned into the same 3 thumbnails and the same 4 clickbait lines. Drift this car, win $10,000, human versus jet engine. Will a guitar boat hold my weight? And viewers started to notice. The edits got louder, the pacing got faster, but the soul slipped away. MrBeast went from creative genius to algorithm hostage, fighting for viewership in a war he started. Still brilliant, still effective, but not the 5-star magic people used to feel. 4 stars, because at this point, even his B tier is everyone else's S tier. Remember those mobile game ads where MrBeast is like, play this and win $100,000. Spoiler alert, you're not winning squat. The game's generic puzzle or idle clickers with Beast slapped on the thumbnail. And the reward? You either get fake coins or you're baited into watching 27 ads per level like it's a YouTube punishment simulator. These were clickbait in its purest form. And while MrBeast probably just licensed his face, fans saw it as an endorsement. 1 star, not because the game sucked, but because it tricked people who trusted him. Here's the twist. This might be his only undeniably good product. Started in 2020, Beast Philanthropy is a charity that literally gives 100% of profits to feeding the homeless, disaster relief, and building wells. And unlike a lot of influencer charities, this one actually does stuff. You can see the food being distributed. You can see the money working. It's not flashy. It's not always viral, but it's real. And sometimes that's enough. 5 stars, no drama, no gimmicks, just good. You thought MrBeast just uploaded in English? Nope. Try over 10 languages: Spanish, Hindi, Portuguese, Japanese. all dubbed with voice actors to hit global markets. It's a business masterstroke. He's not just a creator, he's an international franchise. But here's the catch. Some of the dubs sound like AI trapped in a bathroom stall. Others butchered the delivery of what made the original video exciting. It's a 5-star idea, sometimes with 3-star execution. Because even when you're dominating the globe, a bad dub can make you sound like Siri on Red Bull. MrBeast doesn't just sell snacks. He builds real-life game sets that look like Squid Game and cost more than your favorite movie. The Squid Game video alone, $3.5 million. But here's the weirdest part. People remember the challenges, but not the winners. Seriously, if you had to name one person who won $1 million from MrBeast, could you? If you're curious, we actually broke that down in most loved MrBeast winners. It'll blow your mind how many of them disappeared after the cash. Because in the MrBeast cinematic universe, the prize is just a plot device. It's never about who wins, it's about what he builds. And when your product is literally a real-life Hunger Games arena with YouTube lighting and drone shots, yeah, 5 stars for going broke just to make the internet fun. MrBeast isn't just a YouTuber, he's an empire. But even empires have bad product launches. For every Feastables bar that crushes the snack aisle, there's a soggy burger in someone's Uber Eats bag. For every viral short, there's a finger-tapping app failure buried under a lawsuit. It's not about being perfect, it's about knowing when to pivot. And if there's one thing MrBeast does better than anyone else, he fails publicly, learns fast, and still ends up 5 steps ahead. Because even when it's a 1-star, it's part of a 5-star plan. Okay, so his burgers might be a 1-star disaster, but his philanthropy is a certified 5-star success. And that generosity has created a new kind of millionaire. But what happens to the ordinary people who win his insane challenges? Do they buy Lambos and mansions, or does the money change them in a way you'd never expect? Let's track down the most loved MrBeast winners and see where they are now. This is the part of the story that truly matters. MrBeast has given away more money than most game shows, charities, and even lottery winners. Private islands, $500,000 checks, $1 million competitions. He's turned ordinary people into instant millionaires. But once the cameras stop rolling and the confetti clears, what really happens to the winners? Do they buy mansions and Lamborghinis? Do they invest and disappear into luxury? Or do some quietly fade back into normal life? Richer, but not transformed. In this video, we're tracking down the real stories behind MrBeast's biggest winners. From a man who walked away with $10 million, to a couple who flipped YouTube fame into real estate, and a few who vanished without a trace. This isn't just about cash, it's about what people do with sudden wealth. And some of these stories, they might surprise you more than the prize itself. Giving away money isn't a gimmick for MrBeast, it's a business model. With over 350 million subscribers and billions of views, MrBeast has built a content empire where generosity is the product, and the more outrageous the giveaway, the bigger the payoff. Private islands, $1 million briefcases, life-changing stunts that play out like reality shows, but with real stakes and real people. He doesn't just hand out money, he creates viral pressure cookers, turning everyday contestants into overnight millionaires in front of tens of millions. And here's what's crazy, he's done it again. And again, and again. This isn't just one lucky video. MrBeast has become a millionaire-making machine, changing lives at a pace no game show could ever match. But what happens to those lives after the video ends? That's where the story gets even more interesting. In MrBeast's biggest competition ever, Beast Games, 1,000 contestants entered. Only one walked out with $10 million. His name? Jeffrey Randall Allen. Player 831, Jeffrey's contestant number, battled through weeks of high-stakes physical and psychological challenges, and when the final moment came, he didn't just win the money, he won it for his son. Jeffrey's son has a rare condition called creatine transporter deficiency, a disease with no cure. After taxes, Jeffrey walked away with about $5 million and publicly pledged to use the money to fund medical research that could save his child's life. No flashy cars, no mansion tours, just a dad using his winnings to fight for something bigger than himself. In a world obsessed with luxury, Jeffrey's story hit different. It wasn't about flexing, it was about hope, and that made it unforgettable. When MrBeast gave away a private island, it felt like a stunt out of a Hollywood movie, but it was real, and Mia Spate was the one who won it. In a tropical challenge filled with survival tasks, social strategy, and classic MrBeast chaos, Mia outlasted the competition and claimed an estimated $1.8 million island as her prize. But what do you even do with an island? That's where the mystery begins. Mia shared a few glimpses of her life post-win on TikTok, but there's been no no flashy mansion tour or headline-making real estate flip. Did she keep it, sell it, turn it into a luxury rental? To this day, no one knows for sure, and maybe that's the most powerful flex of all, owning a private island and disappearing from the spotlight. When MrBeast recreated Squid Game in real life with 456 contestants and a towering $456,000 prize, the internet exploded. And the last person standing? A soft-spoken strategic contestant named Cam. Cam didn't need theatrics. While others cracked under pressure, he kept his cool, made the right alliances, and timed every move. The final challenge, unlike the Netflix series, was a simple game of musical chairs, and Cam won. What did he do next? No sports car, no fame tour, no YouTube channel chasing views. Cam simply took the money and went home. Reports say he planned to use it to build a stable future, support his family, and avoid the chaos of instant celebrity. In a world where fame is the real prize, Cam quietly chose peace over the spotlight. Sometimes winning big means knowing when to walk away. Would you live inside a circle for 100 days straight for $500,000? That's exactly what Shawn Hendricks did in one of MrBeast's most intense endurance challenges ever. Alone in a fenced-off circle with cameras rolling day and night, Shawn had to survive isolation, boredom, and mental exhaustion, all while knowing he could walk away with $500,000 if he lasted the full term. Spoiler, he did, and what came next was almost as inspiring as the challenge itself. Shawn used the money to buy his dream home in North Carolina, a life milestone that would have taken years under normal circumstances. But he didn't stop there. He launched a content channel, collaborated with MrBeast's team, and built his own following. From a quiet contestant to a creator with purpose, Shawn turned his win into a lifestyle upgrade, not just a headline. In a Willy Wonka style showdown, MrBeast turned a real-life chocolate factory into a massive playground, and at the end of the sugar-fueled chaos, one couple walked away with $500,000. Bella and Dallin from Della Vlogs. The challenge was filled with candy rivers, puzzles, and elaborate set pieces, but for Bella and Dallin, it wasn't just a sweet win, it was a launch pad. They didn't blow the money on luxury for show. Instead, they invested in real estate, grew their YouTube channel, and used part of the winnings to support charitable causes. Since then, they've surpassed 1 million subscribers and transformed their online presence into a sustainable business. They didn't just walk away with $500,000, they walked away with momentum, and they proved that with the right mindset, a MrBeast win can become a full-blown career. Not all MrBeast winners are strangers. Sometimes the prize lands right in the crew. Enter Chandler Hallow, the lovable wild card of the MrBeast team, who once walked away with an $800,000 private island. In a classic challenge filled with laughs, betrayals, and awkward fishing attempts, Chandler came out on top, but winning an island turned out to be a bit more complicated than expected. Between maintenance costs, property taxes, and the sheer logistics of owning an uninhabited island, Chandler eventually sold it, a decision he later confirmed publicly. It wasn't about showing off, it was about being realistic. Chandler still appears regularly in MrBeast videos, has built a fan base of his own, and even launched a personal merch line. Turns out owning an island might be fun, but having options, that's real power. Not every MrBeast winner became a millionaire overnight, but some walked away with opportunities worth even more. Zealous, a small creator, exploded after MrBeast picked him for a challenge to hit 1 million subscribers. He succeeded and turned the momentum into a full-time content career. Jaden Animations, already a massive name, won $1 million in a creator battle, but instead of spending it on herself, she pledged to use part of it to help fans attend art school, turning her prize into purpose. Akira, a familiar face in multiple videos, has quietly racked up cash wins in several challenges without ever making a scene. No flexing, just consistency. And then there's Jaron Barajas, an 18-year-old college student who won $100,000 during MrBeast's NBA All-Star Challenge and plans to use it to fund his education and support his family. Different stories, different stakes, but all changed by one creator's camera. In one of MrBeast's most intense challenges, Brianna Ye emerged victorious in the laser challenge, securing a $250,000 prize. The competition tested participants' patience and agility, culminating in a grueling final round where Brianna and 3 others were trapped inside a laser cage for over 10 hours. When the lasers briefly turned off, they had to dash to a cube containing the cash. Brianna's quick thinking and determination led her to outlast the others and claim the prize. Rather than indulging in personal luxuries, Brianna chose to share her winnings. She reunited the 3 runners-up from the challenge and flew them out to California, treating them to adventures and experiences. Her actions exemplify a spirit of generosity and camaraderie, turning a personal victory into a shared celebration. From million-dollar prize checks to private islands, MrBeast has created a new kind of wealth story, one that doesn't come from Wall Street or inheritance, but from cameras, creativity, and pure competition. Some winners like Jeffrey Allen use their prize to fight for their family. Others like Zealous and Sean Hendricks flip their moment into full-time careers. And then there are people like Brianna Ye, who prove that generosity doesn't end when the cameras stop. But not everyone goes viral. Some winners walk away rich and vanish quietly because sometimes the real flex isn't fame, it's freedom. From funding life-saving research to buying dream homes, it's clear that MrBeast's money has changed lives for the better. Those are the videos everyone loves, but not every video he uploads gets the same praise. In fact, some have sparked massive backlash and controversy. Now we look at the two sides of the coin, the videos that made him a hero and the ones that almost made him a villain. MrBeast, the man who turned YouTube into his personal playground. From recreating Squid Game with hundreds of players, to giving away literal islands, to curing blindness in a single video. For millions of fans, he's the greatest YouTuber alive. But here's the twist. Not every upload gets love. Some of his videos, they sparked backlash, controversy, and even made fans say, yeah, this one feels wrong. So today we're breaking down the most loved versus the most hated MrBeast videos of all time, from record-shattering challenges that the internet still can't stop talking about, to projects that had people accusing him of exploitation, over-commercialization, and even crossing ethical lines. This isn't just about views, it's about the videos that defined his career, the ones that made him YouTube's golden boy, and the ones that nearly made him its villain. Let's start with the moments that proved why millions call him the best YouTuber of all time. When Netflix's Squid Game took over the world, most creators made quick parodies or reaction videos. But MrBeast? He spent over $3.5 million to rebuild the entire show, set by set, game by game, with 456 real contestants competing for $456,000 in cash. The result? One of the biggest YouTube videos in history, smashing 500 million views. Fans called it the most ambitious video ever uploaded. Every detail, from the giant doll in red light, green light to the glass bridge, was recreated with insane accuracy. And the best part, instead of people being eliminated with, well, you know, he used clever props and game mechanics to keep it fun, safe, but still high stakes. For many fans, this was the moment MrBeast proved he wasn't just another creator chasing trends. He was the trend. The sheer scale, the timing, the money on the line. It was YouTube history. Some of MrBeast's most loved videos don't even look like traditional content. They're global movements. With Team Trees, he set out to raise $20 million to plant 20 million trees. And he didn't do it alone. He teamed up with Mark Rober, hundreds of other creators, and millions of fans. The internet delivered, raising way more than the goal. Then came Team Seas, targeting 30 million pounds of trash removed from the ocean. Once again, YouTube united. Fans adored these projects because it wasn't just entertainment, it was impact. It proved that YouTube creators could do something massive, something mainstream charities struggled to achieve just by mobilizing their communities. It made people proud to say, I watch MrBeast. Think about it. How do you even celebrate hitting 100 million subscribers? Jimmy's answer? Give away a whole island. He literally gathered fans, put them through a series of Survivor-style challenges, and at the end, handed over the deed to private land. That's not just a giveaway. It's a life-changing event that feels bigger than anything TV networks ever produced. Fans loved it because it captured the essence of MrBeast: over-the-top generosity, competitive fun, and a sense of anything is possible if you're in a MrBeast video. It wasn't just about hitting a milestone, it was about celebrating the community that got him there. This video left millions in tears. Partnering with a surgeon, MrBeast funded operations that restored the sight of 1,000 people who were legally blind. The reactions were raw, emotional, and unforgettable. From elderly patients finally seeing their loved ones clearly, to young people experiencing vision for the first time. It was a showcase of life-changing impact, all wrapped inside a YouTube upload. Fans flooded the comments, calling it the most beautiful video ever made. Mainstream outlets praised it as proof of how content creators could change lives on a massive scale. Of course, not everything has to be about global impact. Sometimes it's just pure entertainment. Take his last to leave circle wins $500,000, or last to take handoff house keeps it. These videos became instant fan favorites because they combine endurance, tension, and massive rewards. They're simple but addictive. Viewers love seeing how far people will go for life-changing money, while still keeping it fun and family-friendly. This format has become a signature of MrBeast's channel. Even years later, fans still call them peak YouTube, and those are the videos that made MrBeast the most loved creator on the planet. Projects that entertained, inspired, and even changed lives. But on the flip side, not every upload had the same reaction. In fact, some of his videos sparked massive backlash, raising questions about whether MrBeast's generosity was genuine or just content. On paper, this should have been one of MrBeast's most heartwarming uploads. Partnering with charities, highlighting children finally finding families. What could possibly go wrong? But instead of applause, the video triggered outrage. Critics accused Jimmy of exploiting some of the most vulnerable kids in the world for views. Others said adoption is deeply personal, emotional, and complicated, and turning it into a YouTube thumbnail felt tone-deaf at best, exploitative at worst. The internet quickly split in two. Some fans praised him for raising awareness and helping real children, but others felt deeply uncomfortable, like he was turning life-changing moments into challenge content. What should have been his most wholesome video is now remembered as one of his most hated uploads ever. Another massive project, another wave of backlash. On paper, this was peak MrBeast. A full-scale chocolate factory, endless challenges, and a huge prize at the end. But fans weren't entirely sold. Some felt the video was too commercialized, serving more as a giant ad for his Feastables brand than as a piece of content. Others said it lacked the heart and charm of his earlier uploads. Too flashy, too corporate, not enough soul. Comments compared it to a big-budget commercial rather than a genuine MrBeast video. And for the first time, fans started asking, has MrBeast gone too far into business mode? This one looked like a harmless survival challenge. Jimmy and his crew freezing in Antarctica for entertainment. But critics weren't impressed. The backlash came from environmental concerns. Flying an entire production team to one of the most fragile ecosystems in the world, all for views. People argued it was spectacle for spectacle's sake. Unlike his charity projects, this one felt empty to some viewers. Sure, it was extreme, but it didn't mean anything. And in the comment sections, you could feel the disappointment. Fans wanted heart, not just hype. This video had the perfect MrBeast formula: crazy money plus crazy challenge. But this time, fans weren't celebrating. Instead, people criticized the format as cruel. Contestants scrambled to spend as much as possible in 60 seconds, and most ended up with way less than the full prize. Viewers called it stressful to watch, like dangling life-changing money in front of people, only to snatch it away. Some even called it the most unfair MrBeast video ever. What was supposed to be fun entertainment ended up feeling more like punishment than generosity. Another common criticism comes from his endurance-based videos. Take I Was Buried Alive for 50 hours. While it racked up views, many fans called it unnecessary risk for the sake of a thumbnail. Others argue these extreme endurance challenges, like staying in solitary confinement or underwater, don't have the same payoff as his philanthropic content. Instead, they feel like clickbait suffering that adds little value beyond shock factor. And slowly, some viewers began to question, is MrBeast running out of ideas? Looking at these hated videos together, a bigger pattern emerges. Some people see MrBeast not as a philanthropist, but as a businessman turning generosity into spectacle. They argue his kindness isn't pure, it's monetized. And whether you agree with that or not, it's clear. The bigger Jimmy gets, the harsher the criticism becomes. MrBeast is a paradox. On one hand, he's the most loved creator on YouTube history. He's planted millions of trees, cleaned oceans, given away fortunes, and even helped people see for the first time. His videos inspire, entertain, and constantly raise the bar for what's possible on this platform. But on the other hand, he's also one of the most criticized. Every massive giveaway sparks debate. Every charity project gets accused of being content first, kindness second, and every extreme challenge raises the question, is this still entertainment? Or is it exploitation? The truth is, when you operate at Jimmy's level, you can't escape it. The same videos that make millions cheer will also make thousands rage. Because love and hate are two sides of the same coin, especially when the entire world is watching. Exploitation or generosity, the line is blurry, and that controversy isn't just coming from fans. It's coming from inside the YouTube community itself. Behind all the praise and admiration, there's a growing resentment, from jealousy over his success to accusations of creating a toxic work culture. This is the part of the story they don't want you to see. Here's why some of the biggest YouTubers on the planet secretly hate MrBeast. MrBeast, the man who turned YouTube into a global spectacle. From giving away private islands, to curing blindness, to building a Willy Wonka chocolate factory in real life, Jimmy Donaldson isn't just a YouTuber anymore. He's an empire, a brand, a legend. But behind all the headlines and praise, there's another story, because not everyone in the YouTube world is clapping for him. In fact, some creators secretly can't stand him. And today, we're diving into the real reasons why. From jealousy over his success, to accusations of exploiting workers, to fears that he's becoming the first true monopoly on YouTube. This is why some YouTubers secretly hate MrBeast. Let's be real. Success always creates enemies. MrBeast isn't just successful, he's operating on a level that feels almost unreachable. Most YouTubers struggle to pull a few 100,000 views on a video. Some are lucky to hit 1 million. But MrBeast, his uploads casually rake in 50 million, 100 million, even 200 million views, and that creates resentment. Because for smaller creators, even ones with millions of subscribers, it feels like no matter how hard they grind, they'll never compete with Jimmy's scale. It's not just about money either, it's about visibility. When you put blood, sweat, and tears into a video, and then watch the algorithm push MrBeast's latest giveaway to the trending tab worldwide, it can feel like YouTube is built to serve him first, and everyone else second. Commentary YouTubers like Some Ordinary Gamers, Mutahar, and Ethan Klein from H3H3 have openly discussed this. They've pointed out how brands and advertisers now look at MrBeast as the safe bet, the guy who guarantees billions of impressions. For mid-tier creators, that's demoralizing, because even if they make great content, they're competing against a giant who has already won the game. And let's not forget, envy is a very human thing. When one person becomes the face of an entire platform, it doesn't just inspire admiration, it sparks jealousy too. Here's the thing about YouTube, it thrives on comparison, views, subscribers, CPM, brand deals, and MrBeast dominates every category. That creates what I call the Beast effect, where creators measure themselves against him and come up short every single time. Take creators like PewDiePie. Even though Felix has publicly praised Jimmy, there's always this underlying narrative. Pewds used to be the king of YouTube. Now MrBeast wears the crown. Or look at Logan Paul. Once one of the platform's biggest stars, he now plays second fiddle when it comes to global recognition. Jimmy doesn't just outpull him in views, he outshines him in brand power, and jealousy works in subtle ways. It's not always creators coming out and saying, "I hate MrBeast." Sometimes it's side comments on podcasts. Sometimes it's Twitter threads where smaller YouTubers vent about how brands funnel all their money into Jimmy's videos instead of spreading it across mid-tier channels. Creators like Jarvis Johnson and Ethan Klein have mentioned this imbalance. While they don't outright hate Jimmy, they've criticized how YouTube feels like a one-man stage show where everyone else is fighting for scraps of attention. At the end of the day, the jealousy isn't about who MrBeast is as a person, it's about what he represents. An impossible standard, a reminder that no matter how hard you try, someone else is always bigger, richer, and more viral. Of course, it's not just about jealousy. Some creators genuinely dislike MrBeast's content style. To his fans, his videos are innovative, over the top, and fun. But to his critics, they're shallow spectacle, designed more for clicks than creativity. Commentary channels like SunnyV2 and Some Ordinary Gamers have argued that his videos are less about storytelling and more about gimmicks. Who can win $1 million? Who can stay in a circle the longest? Who can survive in a real-life Squid Game set? To some, that feels like YouTube at its most manufactured, a far cry from the raw, personal content that built the platform in the first place. Even creators like Casey Neistat, who doesn't hate MrBeast at all, once suggested that YouTube has shifted from artistry to stunts, with Jimmy leading the charge. For old school YouTubers, that shift feels like a betrayal of the platform's roots. And so, when they criticize MrBeast, it's not just about him, it's about what he represents, the commercialization of creativity. Now, here's where things get darker. Some of the harshest criticism of MrBeast hasn't come from fellow creators, but from people who worked for him. In 2021, the New York Times published a piece where former employees described his workplace as intense and demanding. Others in insider reports claimed he had unrealistic standards and created a toxic work culture. A few ex-staffers even posted TikToks and Twitter threads, alleging that behind the scenes of the massive giveaways and grand productions, the environment was stressful, cutthroat, and exhausting. everything. Now, to be fair, Jimmy himself has addressed some of this. He admitted he can be tough to work with because he's obsessed with perfection. He wants every video to break records, every project to be bigger than the last. But for critics, this narrative feeds into a bigger point, that MrBeast's empire isn't just powered by generosity. It's powered by people working around the clock, sometimes burning out, all to maintain the machine. And for some creators, that's reason enough to dislike him, because it turns his brand of philanthropy into something that feels a little less pure. Another big reason some creators resent MrBeast. They think he's too perfect. When your entire brand is built on generosity, giving away money, helping strangers, curing blindness, it almost feels suspicious. Some YouTubers argue that his philanthropy doubles as marketing, that every donation, every good deed is just another piece of content designed to generate views and sponsorships. Commentators like CoffeeZilla have raised questions about how much of MrBeast's generosity is genuine versus how much is business strategy. To critics, this creates a weird dissonance. On one hand, they can't deny he's helping people. On the other hand, they feel uneasy about charity being monetized on such a massive scale. It's the classic too good to be true effect. Because when someone looks flawless on the surface, people start digging for flaws underneath. And in Jimmy's case, every act of kindness sparks a chorus of skeptics asking, yeah, but what's in it for him? Now let's talk money. Brands love MrBeast, and why wouldn't they? His videos guarantee tens of millions of eyeballs. He's safe, family-friendly, and globally recognized. But here's the issue. When brands pour their budgets into Jimmy, that means less money for everyone else. Smaller and mid-tier creators have vented about this on Twitter and in podcasts. They argue that sponsorship dollars used to be spread across dozens of creators. Now, entire budgets get funneled into a single MrBeast video. Creators like Ethan Klein, Mudahar, and Jarvis Johnson have all hinted at this imbalance. They've pointed out that YouTube feels increasingly top-heavy, where a handful of mega channels capture the lion's share of opportunities. And for mid-tier creators, that stings, because even if they're pulling in solid numbers, they're not seen as worth the investment when MrBeast is sitting right there, promising 10 times the exposure. It's not Jimmy's fault directly, but his dominance has reshaped the ecosystem, and a lot of creators quietly resent him for it. There's another layer to why some YouTubers secretly dislike MrBeast, and it goes beyond money or jealousy. It's the fear that he's becoming a monopoly on YouTube. Think about it. When people outside of YouTube talk about the platform, who's the first name that comes up? It's not PewDiePie anymore. It's not Logan Paul. It's not even Dream or Ryan Trahan. It's MrBeast. He's become the face of YouTube, and for smaller creators, that's intimidating. Commentary channels like SunnyV2 have argued that Jimmy's rise comes with a side effect. The bigger he gets, the more YouTube starts looking like a one-man show. And that's dangerous for diversity, because if viewers think YouTube equals MrBeast, it overshadows the thousands of other creators grinding for recognition. It also raises questions about YouTube's own priorities. Will the platform shape itself more around mega channels like MrBeast, the ones who guarantee billions of views, instead of supporting mid-tier or up-and-coming talent? Some critics worry that YouTube could eventually resemble traditional television, where only a handful of shows dominate, while smaller productions get buried. In other words, when one creator towers above the entire ecosystem, everyone else is forced to live in his shadow. So, is the hate towards MrBeast actually justified? Not really. Most of it comes from envy, frustration, or the changing nature of YouTube, not from Jimmy doing anything wrong. Yes, he sets an impossible standard. Yes, he dominates sponsorships, but that's what every creator dreams of, to reach the top. And while others complain, Jimmy keeps building schools, funding charities, and creating videos that inspire millions. At the end of the day, the hate often says more about his critics than it does about him, because while they're tearing him down, he's busy changing the game. Envy, impossible standards, and a monopoly on attention. The price of being at the top is steep, but the criticism from rivals is nothing compared to the pain that comes from within. What happens when the friends who helped you build the empire disappear? In our final chapter, we expose the most heartbreaking part of the MrBeast story, the betrayals, from Chris Tyson's quiet exit to the teammates who were left behind. This is what happens when loyalty doesn't scale. What happens when the internet's most loved creator gets betrayed? Not by his rivals, but by the people who helped him build his empire. The smiling faces, the viral challenges, the friendships that felt real, gone. In this video, we're exposing the biggest betrayals in the MrBeast universe. From loyal teammates who disappeared without warning to friendships torn apart by silence, clout, and ego. This isn't about petty drama, it's about what happens when trust turns into tension, and YouTube royalty becomes a kingdom divided. You thought MrBeast had it all. Think again. Chris Tyson wasn't just a sidekick. They were the heart of early MrBeast videos. The goofy energy, the wild stunts, the genuine friendship. From counting to 100,000 together to blowing up houses, it was always Jimmy and Chris, until it wasn't. In 2023, Chris came out as trans and began hormone replacement therapy. The internet exploded, and some celebrated, others criticized, but MrBeast stood tall, tweeting, "I'm proud of Chris. He's my friend and always will be." And for a while, that seemed true. But fans noticed something off. Chris was gone from videos. No challenges, no group shots, no chemistry. Speculation erupted. Had MrBeast quietly pushed them out? Chris didn't address it directly, but their tweets grew cryptic. People change. That's okay. Some things aren't meant to last forever. And then, silence. No official statement, no farewell, just thumbnails without Chris, and a crew that looked familiar, but felt incomplete. The absence spoke louder than any words. For years, Chris helped define the MrBeast identity. Now, they were being edited out of it. Some fans defended MrBeast, saying it was logistics or content strategy. Others felt betrayed, not by the disappearance, but by the silence. Because for a brand built on loyalty and friendship, the quiet split felt cold. Calculated, the final twist? In mid-2024, eagle-eyed viewers caught MrBeast unfollowing Chris on social media, then refollowing them days later. It was enough to confirm one thing: something broke between them, and it's never been the same since. This wasn't a drama war. This was a fracture between friends, the kind that doesn't go viral, but hurts even more. And maybe that's the most brutal betrayal of all. Not when someone stabs you in the back, but when someone you loved just stopped showing up. When Karl Jacobs joined the MrBeast crew, fans instantly fell in love. He was funny, quirky, the Gen Z wildcard who brought chaotic energy to every challenge. And for a while, he was the golden boy. Front and center in thumbnails, featured in merch, loved by millions. But then, the backlash began. It started slow. Some fans said Karl was ruining the vibe of the group. Others accused him of making everything about himself. Then, old clips resurfaced. Karl had appeared on controversial streamer Ice Poseidon's platform, a space known for racism and toxicity. Even though Karl apologized, it was too late. The internet had already labeled him problematic. MrBeast stayed silent, but fans noticed Karl's screen time dropped. He showed up less in the biggest videos, and when he did, he was often off to the side, no longer the centerpiece. Karl leaned hard into the Minecraft world, forming his own fan base. He became a star in his own right, streaming, collabing, building his brand far beyond MrBeast. Some called it growth, others called it disloyal, and while Jimmy never addressed it publicly, the distance was obvious. Karl's rise created friction between fans, between teammates, maybe even behind the scenes, because when someone gets too big for the crew that made them famous, you start to wonder if they ever plan to stay. Sometimes the downfall isn't a scandal. It's a spotlight that moves just far enough to leave a shadow. Karl Jacobs didn't attack MrBeast. He didn't leave in flames, but he did what many fans saw as betrayal. He chose a different audience and left the one that made him a star. Jake Franklin, or better known as Jake the Viking, was a fan favorite in the early MrBeast days. Big beard, big energy, big loyalty. Whether it was standing in a circle for hours or surviving extreme weather challenges, Jake was always in the thick of it. He wasn't just a crew member, he was family. And then he vanished. No goodbye video, no send-off, just gone. Fans flooded the comments. Where's Jake? Did he quit? Why isn't he in the new uploads? For months there was silence. Then finally, on his own channel, Jake broke it. In a video titled "Why I Left MrBeast," Jake explained it all. He didn't trash Jimmy, he didn't spill secrets, but between the lines, you could hear the truth. It just wasn't the same anymore. Sometimes you have to walk away from something, even if it's great, for your own sanity. He hinted at burnout, pressure, losing control over the kind of content he wanted to make. He wanted creative freedom, a life beyond challenges and prize money. The internet praised him for his honesty, but the emotional wound was clear. He had been a part of something massive, and he walked away with nothing but memories. No reunion, no future collabs, just distance. Not every betrayal is loud. Sometimes it's the silence that says everything. Jake didn't betray MrBeast with drama, but the way he was phased out and the way fans were left in the dark, it felt like a betrayal of us all. Not all betrayals come from the screen. Some come from behind the camera. Matt Turner was one of MrBeast's earliest editors, part of the team responsible for turning chaos into viral gold. But in 2019, Turner walked away, and what followed was explosive. He accused MrBeast of running a toxic work environment. In interviews, Matt said he was pushed to work 12 to 18-hour days, was yelled at for tiny mistakes, and had his edits scrapped without reason. He'd call me by names, degrade my work, and never explain what he wanted, Turner claimed. The internet was split. Some fans defended MrBeast. Others believed the editor who helped build the empire, but the damage was done. A second ex-employee, Nate Anderson, echoed the claims, calling Jimmy emotionally taxing and unreasonable. MrBeast finally responded, tweeting, "Only 2 people have come forward out of hundreds who've worked with me. That should say everything." It was short, dismissive, and for many, not enough. The betrayal wasn't just about how someone was treated, it was about the image. MrBeast had built a brand on kindness, generosity, and treating others well. Now that brand had cracks. The moment your team becomes replaceable is the moment your empire stops feeling human. Matt didn't want revenge, he just wanted recognition, and when he didn't get it, he exposed the side of MrBeast the audience wasn't supposed to see. There was a time when every MrBeast thumbnail felt like a family photo. Chris, Carl, Chandler, Jake, faces the audience grew up with, but around 2022, something shifted. The thumbnails started looking different. Logan Paul, KSI, Dream, Sidemen, massive names, massive views, and slowly the old crew faded. Chris disappeared, Jake was already gone. Even Chandler and Carl started showing up less. In their place, influencers with bigger followings, more brand appeal. To the algorithm, it made perfect sense, but to loyal fans, it felt like a betrayal. MrBeast wasn't just expanding, he was replacing. And it wasn't just the on-camera team. Behind the scenes, he launched MrBeast Studios, a global machine with content in Spanish, Hindi, and more. The mission, scale the brand across the planet. Admirable, ambitious, strategic. But fans asked the question nobody wanted to ask. Is MrBeast still Jimmy, or just a CEO now? The collabs got flashier, the content got bigger, but the soul, that weird, scrappy, loyal crew energy was gone. He didn't betray his friends with a scandal, he just left them behind in pursuit of something bigger. Sometimes the harshest betrayal doesn't come from enemies, it comes from success. MrBeast didn't collapse, he didn't fall from grace, but the people around him, they disappeared, one by one, sometimes with silence, sometimes with shade, sometimes with scars they weren't allowed to talk about. Chris faded after a personal transformation, Carl got bigger and drifted further. Jake left without burning bridges, but not without bruises. Editors spoke out, then vanished, and the original crew replaced by stars with clout, cameras, and contracts. There was no meltdown, no dramatic breakup, just the slow, quiet death of something real. MrBeast isn't the villain, but he's no longer just the guy giving away Teslas with his best friends. He's a billion-dollar brand now, and in that world, friendships are fragile, because at the end of the day, loyalty doesn't scale, and the most brutal betrayal, they don't happen on camera, they happen in the edits, in the silence, in the moments when someone stops being in the thumbnail and no one ever explains why. So there it is, the complete story. A kid from Kansas who became a YouTube king, an empire built on giving away money, and a circle of friends that slowly fell apart. MrBeast changed YouTube forever, but in the process, did he lose a part of himself? Is he a hero, a businessman, or something in between? Maybe the answer is all of it. And as his empire continues to grow, one question remains: who will be the next to be left behind? Let me know in the comments what you think, and if you want more deep dives into the biggest stories on the internet, make sure to subscribe. Thanks for watching.